So good afternoon and welcome everyone. I'd like to start off by thanking you all for giving so generously of your time this afternoon to be here with the family to fondly remember and celebrate the life of Mercella Lewis. My name is Pauline, I'm the Director of Personal Touch Funerals, and I'm honoured and touched to have been asked by the family today to officiate today's celebration of life service for Mercella. Before we begin, can I just take a moment to remind you all please to turn off your phones or put them on silent. Thank you. It's a difficult time at the moment when in normal circumstances this chapel would be full of those who knew and loved Mercella and would want to come and be here today to share the love they felt for her and offer comfort for her family. But thankfully we have the advent of modern technology, which has introduced us all, big and small, to the wonders of the internet and a little thing called streaming. This piece of technology has allowed us still to have not only those of you who live near enough to attend today's home service, but also those of you all around the world who are seated in the comfort of your own home to still share this service with Mercella's family today. And we welcome you wholeheartedly wherever you are this afternoon. I am sure all of you have many lovely, warm, fond memories of Mercella, and it's hoped that today's service from her will join them as we give thanks for her earthly years of life with us. Whilst a very sad day, this is also one of celebration as we remember and reflect on her wonderful life's journey. Death is a very difficult subject. No matter who you are, it is difficult to accept and come to terms with the fact that a loved one is now gone and that we will not see them again. Those of us who have experienced losing a loved one know that we will have good days and bad days. And as time passes, the bad days become less frequent. What helps shape each day are the treasured memories and moments that the loved one has left us with for the time that we shared with them. And that is why today we will focus on the celebration of Mercella's life rather than the commemoration of her passing. Today we have a nice programme for her that reflects the love felt and shared. The tributes that we're going to hear today may invoke memories that may make you laugh a lot, and some may make you cry just a little. But one thing is going to be for sure. They are treasured, priceless memories, and hopefully today's service for Mercella can join them to live on in your memories forever. Our scripture reading today will be the ever-popular Psalms 23, The Lord is my shepherd. You know it by heart. Yesterday when I was reading it, you forget how poignant the words are. And so I'd ask you to listen to them, because sometimes we know it, but we don't really take it in. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. For thou art with me, thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of my enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. We have got some spacing. I know that because we're doing the videoing, those on this side are not quite seeing. So I don't know if maybe you'd like to come around a little bit so that you can see that I can see you sort of doing that. Maybe use up some of the space we've got behind us. Better? Yes? Excellent. Okay, good. So we're going to now have a snapshot of Mercella's life, which is going to be read for us today by his son, Nancy.
Put the phone by the ledge, put the phone quick.
Welcome everyone. Thank you for attending and watching today for our mother, Great-grandma's farewell, Mrs. Mercella Lewis. Mercella Lewis was born Mercella Parchment on the 3rd of August 1942 in the district of Fort Charles, St. Elizabeth, beautiful Jamaica. She was the 3rd child of 6 of Father Henry and Mother Viola Parchment. Brothers and sisters were Melvis, Clarence, Sam, Gurley and Marie. Mum attended the Hopewell Elementary School and after leaving there, further educated at Ponside, learning sewing and embroidery, where she was the #1 in her field. Sadly, her father had died when she was young. She had to live with her godmother in Ponside for some time. One of Uncle Clarence's quotes on Mum was, "She were his #1 sister. Nothing him asked for, she give him." He was the one that ran her to bus stop in the before day, meaning in the morning, on a donkey, and she'd tell him, "So make sure you go home, and when godmother wait, tell her you don't know where he is." This is what Mum was saying to Clarence. Sounds like she was up to mischief to me. Later, she then went to live with her sister Marie in Portland in the early 60s. She was 22 years old. She did some domestic work in Kingston for a time, then came back to her mother Viola, where she was given the opportunity to travel to England. At some stage during this time, Mum and our late dad, Leroy Ashton Lewis, had met as boyfriend and girlfriend. They travelled to England separately, catching up with each other, and were later married in 1962, and eventually settled in Nutwood Street in Peckham, where they born and raised 3 children, myself Nelson, Brian and Wilma. Mum found work as a seamstress stroke dressmaker, working for small clothes factories that used to exist in Rye Lane, Peckham area, while Dad worked in a big biscuit factory located around Tower Bridge. I think it was Peak Foods, if I remember rightly. Unfortunately, Mum and Dad's marriage didn't work out and were divorced in 1980. In her later years, Mum was a carer for an old people's home that was located at the end of Nutwood Street before retiring in the late 1990s. Mum was a very proud and private person and used to love doing crochet and knitting, making them for her family and friends. She used to love planting tomatoes, potatoes and other vegetables in the back garden of Nutwood Street when we were growing up. We would have fully cooked Caribbean dinners made every day from scratch in those days, with the sliced beetroot and salads. That was the Caribbean way those times. I look back and think I don't know how they did it. It was just normal, doing a full-time job, looking after the kids, cooking, washing, ironing, and looking after the house. Right. Something, innit? I get nostalgic looking back at the times Mum used to send me to the shop. She used to say to me, "Nelson, go get me a bottle of some nitrogen wine and half ounce of old oil at the shop." Never called me Nelson, Nelson. I remember Mum let me have a birthday party in my late teens. My friends at the time wanted to promote and play our little sound system that we used to have as a hobby. I don't know if you guys can remember those days, eh? Oh God, we invited lots of friends from college and we must have had 200 people in the house. It was the best party in the area. Mum cussed me for letting too much people in the house. I can still hear her voice in my head, bless her. I look back and laugh. I look back at the older generation of Mum's era. Think of the sacrifices they made to leave their families and friends in beautiful Jamaica and the Caribbean to come to cold England, to face racism and all the problems that go with it. But they did it. They got on with it. They got their heads down and got on with it. They are the genuine pioneers and settlers to make a better life for themselves and their families. We salute them. Mums are the true backbone of societies, as they are the ones who really nurture and cultivate and grow the young seeds into hopefully decent young adults. Yeah? Don't get me wrong, the good dads do their part as well, but it's the mums who are the unsung heroes. Yeah? Little ones, looking at you lot, you little ones there. Always say thank you, Mum. Love you, Mum. Always appreciate what they do for you, with lots of hugs and kisses. Mum's calling came, and she was ready to go to meet her maker, back to the stars. She was so ready to go, but I was stopping her from going, because we weren't ready. So she cussed me, she told me about my backside. I'm going my way. That's her way of saying love you. Mercella Lewis, mum, grandma, great-grandma, planted and nurtured a wonderful tree through me, Nelson, Brian and Wilbur to nurture roots to Rochelle, Daniel, Davina, Kaya, Shannon, to nurture roots to Jada, Jarrell, Fuchsia, Faith, Tiana, Nine. Thank you, Mum. Love you, Mum. That's it. That's it.
So you can see I've got my lovely little speech here. There were so many things that Nelson said there that I just sat there and read about, which also that I've got written in here. So a couple of things that he said. Being an English born, I didn't get to Jamaica until I was 30. And one of the most beautiful places in the world is Portland and Port Antonio. It is. It's paradise. And I often wondered, why did our parents come? I know they said they came to make a better life, but when they describe things like we could go and leave our doors open and borrow a cup or whatever, not from the neighbour, and Sundays we always had to dress up even if we weren't going anywhere, just to play outside. So that was one of the things he said that brought back huge memories. Another one which I really smiled at, because I thought it was only us who talked about it, were these Sunday dinners with these huge tomatoes that we had, the rice and peas, the chicken, and then these massive salad tomatoes were on the side. They took up like half of the plate. I think it was Mum way that we didn't have to get much more of the rice and peas, but they were stunning tomatoes. And when you find them now, they call them beef tomatoes. I think they're never still the size that we had when we were children, or maybe because we were small. These things just look enormous, like they were something from the Galapagos Islands. And then when you talk about the way that they spoke to us, and in here I talk about the fact that that generation are our superheroes, because we never really stopped to think about what they were doing. We were kids, weren't we? So we were there, we were getting it. But as we got older, we had our own children, and we tried doing that balancing of looking after family, trying to go to work, do everything that they did. You just constantly shake your head and say, how on earth did you manage? But manage they did. So that was for me a fabulous time of Nelson. Thank you very much. So looking around, it's very clear to see that those of you who are here joining us by streaming and here today, how much Mercella is loved, and we heard that very much in that news a while ago. So we're now going to hear a series of tributes from families and friends. Our first tribute will be a poem from Mercella's son Brian, followed by another special tribute from granddaughter Shannon, who has sent us a recording that will be played for us. Yes? So I'm going to ask Brian, please, to come on.
Hello, good afternoon everyone. Thanks for coming. Mom, this is a sad day for me and the family, obviously. But I don't feel sad enough, because she's going to a better place. And as a second son, I never appreciate how much love and affection for me and my brothers that she gave us as a person. It's only with these hard times and work on mud, with the different rubbish and things going on, that you appreciate what people do, particularly as Nelson said earlier, mothers. Now, my mom was a fair and strong woman. And as a youngster to grow up to be better than them, or her, and parents. And it's only when they're gone, even though mom's gone to a better place, I'm glad she's gone to a better place, because later years she was suffering. But I said to myself, you know what? If it wasn't for her, I would be who I am. And yes, it's hard, but that's how it is, because when the time comes when God calls your name, you can't turn back, you know. Time to come off the bus. Stop the train's stopping. And gone to a better place. As I said with me now, the last couple of months, I said, maybe I'm rambling, but it's a bit kind of emotional. Last couple of months, she was suffering. And as I said, I'm trying not to do the accent, but certain things I try to help with carers and home help and so on and so forth, but I'm going to try and do this properly, but without myself. Run! Run! What? Medicine? No, we don't have that. We don't have that. No, hold on. Mom, what do you want? Get the thing. Hey, Mom, what thing? The thing in the cupboard. No, not that one, this one. That was going the last couple of months, but basically, you know, I mean, she said, what you said, you want the carers. Nelson said earlier. Cuss Nelson, you know. The words only used because we're in church, I can't use the words. And then cuss me. Run! Get the thing, come on now. I said, okay, Mom. But in the end, when the time came, she went her way, as Nelson said, the Sinatra way. So, as I said, she's got her way and she's gone to a better place. As I said, I don't know what to say because it's emotional. I'm trying to hold it together myself, but God bless you, Mom. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, I'll play. Got a recording from Shannon, granddaughter. We'll play it for you. Hope you can hear okay. Sorry, folks. Technology now goes crazy, isn't it? Again. So, folks, I'm not working worse than pain. Sorry, Shannon. Okay.
Just going to hold it up to the big
Yes.
box.
Played it over and over, and then you just didn't come on. So we'll get it.
I'm going to do it twice. Okay, all right. We're going to have a few minutes whereby we've got an open floor for anyone who would like to give a tribute. I know some of us are camera shy and don't want to do that walk all the way up to the microphones. So you can quite happily just stand where you are as long as you speak in a loud, clear voice and give your tribute if you'd like. If not, come up to the microphones. We're going to give about 5 or 10 minutes for this while they sort out the recording. So anyone who'd like to come and say a little something, you either make your way up or you stand where you are. You stand.
I was fighting to my dad and mum and just remembering my grandma. She was such a loving, straight talking woman. She would have been so if she didn't like something, she'd tell you. If she didn't get it back, she'd tell you. She's always trying to feed you and make sure you looked after. And yeah, we were just so close, and I used to see her almost every week. And, oh, baby, that's my coach out. But we were telling her something, she didn't smoke. But she didn't care. And as my dad said, the last few months she did suffer and she was ready to go. And it's always too soon, but I'm glad she's in a better place. And again, she's got to go her way. She didn't have the carers, she didn't want to go into any nursing home or anything. So she got her way. So thanks for everything, Grandma. Lovely to miss you.
Thank you. Anyone else? We just stand where we are. So I think while we're trying to work out, thankfully we have a nice pictorial of Mercella. So I think if we have a look at the pictorial, and then hopefully we'll be able to hear Sharon after. So it's going to play up there.
Precious Lord, linger near when my life is almost gone. Hear my cry. When my way groweth drear, precious Lord, linger near when my life is almost gone. Hear my cry, hear my call, hold my hand lest I fall. Take my hand, precious Lord, lead me on. Precious Lord, take my hand, lead me on, let me stand. I am tired, I am weak, I am worn. Through the storm, through the night, lead me on to the light. Take my hand, precious Lord, lead me home. When my work is all done, and my race here is run, let me see by the light thou hast shone that fair city so bright, where the Lamb is the light. Take my hand, precious Lord, lead me on. Precious Lord, take my hand, lead me on, let me stand. I am tired, I'm weak, I am worn. Through the storm, through the night, lead me on to the light. Take my hand, precious Lord, lead me home.
What was said by Nelson, I said it was strange when I wrote this to hear him saying many things, but it also for me is very comforting. So again, another thing that has been reiterated by Brian recently was the fact that their mom didn't want to go to a nursing home. So many of the elders were just terrified of the nursing home. They just didn't want their independence taken away, and my mom was exactly the same. She just didn't want to have anything to do with it. Her and Daddy were together for over 60 years, and he didn't want her to go in there because he was going to do the porridge and the breakfast, and he's going to talk to her about Coronation Street and all the other things they used to sit down there watching and having their little dialogue. They were the first. Is it Google Box? Where they're sitting there just going, they were the first Google Box people. They would have made wonderful TV. And sometimes when they know that they can't manage, they mentally just give up. And that's what happened with Mum. She had the dementia. She fell a couple of times. We had to take her to the hospital. But, you know, Dad left her on the floor nearly once 3 days because he was convinced Mum was just messing about. She was going to get up. But I think really his mind, he knew once we took her, she wasn't going to come back in. And I'm forever proud as I hear the boys talk today, the same proudness that we didn't let them go into that nursing home. That we fought and we struggled, and it was hard, it was not easy, but that was what we had to do until their eyes closed. And that's what I'll tell you from someone whose parents has gone ahead of yours, that's what will give you comfort, because you knew you did what she wanted to do. She wanted to stay at home, she wanted to buy after for the family team, where we don't know what they're talking about, so we had to go to so many teams in the combat. They just, again, that was their comfort, wasn't it? Because you can't do this to the carers, they're going to be shouting, no one's going to be listening to them. Those are the horror stories they heard that they didn't want to happen to them, particularly when they were such proud, independent people. So as I say here, the elders, as we refer to them fondly, were, in my opinion, simply great. They were the early superheroes. Look at the many things that they achieved with little resources, and in many cases with even smaller amounts of education. But what they had in abundance was huge amounts of pride, determination, morals, fearlessness, and the words that they spoke of often to us, their children, were, strive to do your very best. Mothers are precious commodities, as we've heard and we know, as also highlighted though in the Bible in the book of Proverbs. She is more precious than rubies, and all the things that thou canst desire are not to be compared unto her. Length of days is in her right hand, and in her left hand riches and honour. Her ways are ways of pleasantness, and all her paths are peace. She is a tree of life to them that lay hold upon her, and happy is everyone that retaineth her. Sometimes, you know, her ways of pleasantness and her paths of peace aren't quite the words I would have said for Mum, but the overall of my mother was she was priceless. Mothers are priceless, particularly that generation of mother. They are absolutely and utterly priceless. So for those of us who still have them, treasure them, look after them, remember the things that they give you, because that's all we've got left, sadly, when they're gone. Mercella Lewis was all of those things I've spoken to you, her family and friends. We're now going to come to the point where we're going to actually say our farewells to her. For those of you who wish to pay your last respects, you can come forward, offer your own silent prayer, and say your own personal goodbye. Just spend a little bit of time with her. To this, we're going to play the hymn Amazing Grace.
Every song, I like to dedicate this song to my mom, so I just can't forget singing the song every single week. Amazing grace,
Announcements, please. Oh, We're going to have Shannon.
As hard as it is for me, and I know that it is, and I will always cherish that moment together. Josh should be one of my favorites, my favorite saying, never eat that. It made me laugh again, so I wish I had more time, but I was ready to go. Until me, my mom always knew my heart. Everything taught me the promise of asking to zero, especially I want to see Shannon.
Great. Can I ask you all please to stand? So as we prepare to bring our service to a close, I'd just like us all to bow our heads while we're standing, and we'll say the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those that trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. I'd just like to once again say thank you for all being here today, to say the fond farewell to us, our to support and comfort friends and family together. Well, today's service was a very beautiful and stirring song entitled Many Leaves to Cross by the Liverpool Sydney Cliff. After which, I'll ask you to make your way through the doors, and on the back of your order of services, you'll find the reception address that we're going to offer. I know that we're planning to visit another member, so we're going to visit another member who's in the cemetery, and then make our way over to the reception. So if you can lead through this door, please.
Shall we go in? Down the steps and to the right we go. Yeah. And you want to say that's room for the cemetery? Yeah, it's closed. It's only open at the weekend because of COVID. Oh, I've just been to the cemetery manager's office there.
Oh, because it's not the main entrance. It's the one on the rock side.
Yeah, it's all locked up. They're only allowing for burials.
Really?
Yeah, it's open on Saturdays and Sundays.
Yeah, because my son's from Birmingham, you see, so.
Yeah, I have tried. I've sort of just been down to see him while you're there. Just take you over to where the flowers are, so.
I'll tell them. And see what they want to do.
Hello, I'd like to take some photos, eh? I'm going to ask you to stand. What's the phone at the back? Hello. You just stand up for a while. Yeah.
Can we get a picture first and then a picture of balloons? Be nice.
Can you get a bit tighter? You don't mind? Yes, give them the flowers.
You want the balloons, yeah?
Wait, let me just take one without the balloons. Give them a bow. Okay, I'm gonna. Okay. One. wave, wave. Keep waving. She's gone to heaven. Keep waving. Keep waving, keep waving. She's gone. Thank you. Keep waving. Keep waving, keep waving. Keep waving, keep waving. Thank you. you know, so yeah. To come back.